Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present, and future. Good morning, everyone. It is the 26th of February here in Auckland, New Zealand. Another week, another Monday mantra, another recap of our spiritual progression lesson. If you're listening to this on the Beacon app, please don't forget to tag, share, like, subscribe to Spotify and YouTube, just so that the support that you give me to keep running this app is what helps me grow it and create more resources for you. And all of that support really does help. And for those of you who are new here, welcome. Welcome to listening to a soul progression lesson. Now, I don't do anything that is for likes or for gimmicky reasons. I'm here to teach, so I take it really, really seriously. So this is why when we do these recaps, it's really important that you put yourself in a position of we address the past to be able to evaluate our future. Well, with last week, I set the Monday mantra, and when I set these, it's guided by Spirit. So I too am looking at the unfolding and how to apply these Monday mantras to my own life. The Monday mantra was self-discipline enables me to lead and make choices towards my desires. Self-discipline enables me to lead and make choices towards my desires. So I started off by saying possibilities are presenting themselves and we need to get organized and disciplined, particularly going into March soon. Now, over the weekend, we had the full moon, and the full moon was in Virgo, and I've got quite a few Virgos in my life, and I know some of you will be listening. You're very practical, very critical, everything needs to be organized. I live with a Virgo, my mother is a Virgo, so I know this star sign very, very well. And I actually made notes as my week progressed as to what was going on. So on Monday, I wrote notes, a few words at the end of the day on my notes on my phone, so that I could go back and look at what happened. So I suggest you do that. It was actually really helpful. If you're not someone that keeps a journal, which I don't, I write when I feel like I need to get things out. This was really great because at the end of Monday, I was like, these couple of things that I need to remember. Tuesday, I did that throughout the week, and it was really good for me to see how the week progressed. And the organization and the discipline really made me see how people are either adhering to your rules, if you are someone that has set boundaries or set processes in place, or they don't. So I'm going to give you an example. Kieran contacted me at the beginning of the week, and she said that there were a couple of clients that were scheduled for this week that had not yet filled in the form that we need them to fill in, because I have everything that I do, there is a reason. And the reason is usually because it's giving me energetic permission to access you. And so somebody apparently had come back because we said, which is our truth. Like if you don't fill in this form, and they'd been sent a few reminders, unfortunately, we're going to have to move your appointment to the next available appointment, which is some time away, because I need all of these processes as part of my discipline and organization in the way that I run my work. And this person came back very disgruntled that they were being requested to fill in this form. And so I realized that it was really about me having to go through what I need to go through in order to do my work. And if you were able to participate with that, knowing that it is for a greater cause, then that's fine. And if you weren't, well, I can't do anything about it. And so that's my leadership when it comes to making the choices that I need, because it's my discipline to make sure that I'm doing exactly what I need for you, as well as you doing exactly what I need from you in order for me to do my job properly. So how were you organized and disciplined last week? How did you lead situations which may have left you feeling like I need to stick to my rules because this is how things are going to keep me working towards my desires? And I also saw that as the week progressed, I've said here, we can't and are not meant to be doing everything alone. This week will require discipline, creativity, and collaboration with the team. This is something I saw throughout the whole week. It was me doing my work, but also I noticed a lot of my personal connections were leaning on me for help, for support, for validation. And I was also needing that too. So I found myself reaching out to a lot of people in my life, checking on them because I knew that people were going through in my life a lot of things, and also me needing to talk through some things. And I realized that the community that you have around you is really being called on at the moment, and therefore we need to trust them, because if we have that energy, if we don't trust anyone, you will never have anybody there for you to help you when you need them, and vice versa. This was also meaning spirit team. And I did a lot of my meditation, as I always do, and I was communicating with the wider spirit. And I noticed that during sessions, many spirit guides were coming through for clients. Some of them that people were surprised about because it's not their natural faith, in terms of, for example, someone who had grown up in a Western English type of culture had Lord Krishna coming in. And it was funny because I said, Lord Krishna's here, do you know who that is? I can't remember who this was. And this person said, no, I don't. And then when I was shuffling the cards, Krishna's card fell out of the pack, and I was like, well, this is validation that what I'm saying is accurate. You need to go and tune into Krishna's energy. This was great evidence that spirit is also supporting us. I had to stop during the week and ask myself, what do I actually want? What is my discipline? My discipline is in my spiritual growth. My discipline is here helping you grow. My discipline is also me personally growing. It's to always eat healthily as much as possible, to look after myself and be balanced. And on Monday, it became about disciplines and processes in my work. And that night I did not sleep very well because I felt like there was a lot of clearing going on and purging of people. And then I realized that Spirit has been asking us to trust our responses. And this is not reactions, it's to trust our responses. And what I mean by that, and if you look back at any conversations you've had or any written communication you had, was there anything that you went, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or this is where we have to just trust our responses, because this is going beyond resilience. This is going to a place of where we are fully trusting who we are and having almost like a thick skin around those people who can't adhere to the boundaries and the processes that you set. And I'm speaking very practically because it is that Virgo full moon energy still. And this is how it is. It's kind of like we just got to do what we need to do. And if you don't like it, I'm really sorry. I think it's fair that you've been communicated with and this is what has happened. And as the week progressed, I found that a lot of people that were coming to me were really focused on healing major trauma like addiction, food, eating disorders, sexual trauma. I had an amazing session with somebody, and I remember the past life story. And I traveled back to some time, I can't remember when, and I could see that this client's previous blueprint that was still playing out was they were in some sort of incestual cult situation where it was a polygamous type of thing, and everyone was kind of sleeping with each other. And as I was saying this, the client looked at me and saying, I understand exactly what you're saying. And I'm like, okay, why? Because that was what happened in this lifetime too. And then there was a theme that continued on during the week around these major traumatic experiences that are being healed from lifetimes before because they have happened or are happening currently in this lifetime. So then I thought about, how does this correlate with desires and being disciplined? And this is the discipline to keep healing, the discipline to keep digging and figuring it out and not just parking things. Resilience is not enough. Healing and then developing a thicker skin around you, not that you don't feel, but to trust your responses. I came back to myself around Tuesday, and this is the day I found myself naturally reaching out to people, calling my mum, texting friends, also having a meditation session with one of my healer friends for myself on that day, coming back to who I was. And then Wednesday, again, it was around organizing my life and making sure that things are all in place, because I feel like Spirit had given me that spanner in the works at the beginning of the week with disorganization, because when clients haven't filled in forms and things, it puts a barrier up for Spirit to be able to go, well, this person hasn't adhered to the rules that we've said, Gaia's just following them. So it was really a lot of infrastructure around life that came in some way for you and me. So have a think about it. During the end of the week, again, it was practicalities. I had to go and get my driver's license renewed, and I found myself towards Thursday and Friday needing to move my body. Now, there was something with this full moon, and I'm sure astrologically people would have an explanation. For me, it's always through how I feel, where I found myself needing to put music on and dance. Now, I'm open to a certain degree. I'm actually probably more on the reserved side. So I don't normally put music on and dance around like a crazy person. And I'm not using the word crazy in a derogatory way, but I really just did not care. I dropped all my inhibitions to just move. And I knew that there was a lot of energy stuck in hips at the moment. So those of you who are listening, particularly women, there will be a lot of energy stuck in your hips. So I did put it up on my Instagram when Spirit literally told me, take your clothes off and just dance. And so I did. And I felt that energy moving through. So there's been a lot of that physical movement to be practical and stay disciplined on our healing, disciplined towards our desires, which really, in retrospect, go beyond those practical desires, those physical desires. It was funny what was synchronizing around the full moon. And this is why I've put up Louise Hay's feminine cycle affirmation, because I feel like everyone's cycles, I'm not talking about just menstrual cycles, I'm talking about just cycles in life, are something that we need to be disciplined in also. I found myself around the full moon making bigger decisions and making decisions quickly. It was like suddenly I was so clear after moving and getting rid of energy that the cycle is changing, and this is what I need in my life right now and what I don't need. So I've paused a few things in my life and going and doing things differently in order to bring in the balance. So how did you bring people in to help you? Who reached out to you? Did you find yourself trusting or not trusting people? Because remember, our operating system is what brings in that lesson into our life of people are either going to be there to support us or they're not in times of need, or whether you're needing to talk out loud, which I really needed to last week. So I managed to reach out to someone who was able to help me talk through my processes in my own life, and that's why I ended up having so much more clarity towards the full moon. So for me, it wasn't so much an emotional full moon. It was preparing me for this week's energy, which I'm going to get to shortly. I talked about having a personal celebration because the silver lining card came up, which I'll talk about in a minute. But that personal celebration for me, I had to really look. I saw karma balancing itself out really well in my life, where one person was fussing about my processes and systems, where other people were coming forward. We're happy to do whatever you need us to do so that we can, have a session with you or whatever. So it's almost like one door closed, but 10 open for the people that really see you for who you are and why you are doing what you're doing. So it was really more about keeping moving with inspired action, knowing that you're responding to life, you're doing what you need to be doing, you're being practical and as organized as possible, and you either have found yourself leading a situation or having someone else lead you. And for me, it was a little bit of both. In my work, yes, I'm in a leadership role spiritually, and I'm naturally quite a leader of a person, but everybody needs support. I need support too. And it was so wonderful to talk about things with another person and them going, how about looking at it from this perspective? Taking the time to meditate, I talked about that, and doing, the more purification, because if you go through and read the full energy forecast for February, this whole month has been about death and rebirth. And this is also part of the cycles, honoring the cycles, which is what your homework is going to help you do. We would have released old paradigms around the full moon. I've given you leading yourself in relationships to do from Friday to Monday. After Monday, that's why I didn't include that meditation in your homework, because it's just meant to be for that weekend during the full moon energy. But we're really just shifting these old paradigms and those polarizing feelings of nobody's helping me, but then I don't trust. And, all of those things are all coming back into some sort of organized discipline so that you can have clarity and start seeing the best in people, including yourself. And as we progressed throughout the week, I talked about everything is creating a memory. And, I know in the world we should be striving for kindness all the time and compassion, and those things should be our operating system. But this isn't about being walked over. This isn't about having a big ego. And, the one thing about me, if I've booked in with someone or I have, organized a session for whatever I'm doing with somebody, I'm making sure that I'm waiting for them, not me waiting or them waiting for me, because it's my sign of respect that I value you and I'm going to be sitting here waiting for you to let you know that you're important in this. I've booked your time or whatever so that I can use your wisdom to be able to help me. And these memories that we create are for our growth. They're for using it to heal and recharge ourselves. The past lives that I accessed last week, like the ancestral situation, and there was another one around for somebody else around food disorders, eating disorders. And it's like these memories are being stored and we can use them to recharge ourselves and grow from, with the discipline in motion to be able to get help. It's like getting a personal trainer and only doing it twice and then going, okay, that's enough. It's a consistent thing when it's discipline. But the discipline was, when we think about the discipline of what we're good at, it's sticking to what we know, sticking to what we're good at. And this is why I talked about it some weeks ago, that people who are figuring out how to monetize their gifts and their side hustle, it is a discipline to persevere and figure that out. It's not all going to come at once. And this is something I noticed with a lot of people asking me last week, what do I need to do to accelerate my spiritual progress? Well, my question is, why do you need to accelerate your spiritual progress? If we trust in the natural cycles, we know that we just have to be disciplined in our meditation, disciplined in our self-evaluation, disciplined in learning these lessons, even though they're not all furry and fun and floaty to get attention. They require thinking, just like how those of us who studied something, it's a discipline to study those things. But everything is a memory. So what choices are you making knowing that everything is a memory? And some of those memories are to help us heal. as we moved on, I pulled the soul progression card, the silver lining card came up. And I'd put here, discipline is knowing that you are working towards, what you are working towards will give you a payoff, which is not immediate, but you'll be seeing signs. There is a silver lining in your choices and your decisions this week. And for me, it was I was given extra time to figure things out. I was given the space to decide who I wanted and what I wanted. Spirit says there are doors opening to connections that you didn't know were coming. And I really feel this strongly, especially for our spiritual connections. What was the silver lining that was shown to you last week? It may have felt like a disorganized mess for me in the beginning of the week, but then I saw the silver lining opening up towards the end of the week. And it is because Spirit is letting you know that you are supported. It is evidence that possibilities are presenting themselves to you, which will be heart-led and reassurance that you are on the right path towards your desires unfolding. So the silver lining card came up to pay attention that it is going to turn out better than you thought. Even if things are rough, even if things are, I found myself, because I am so disciplined naturally, being pulled out of discipline in order for me to have clarity to go, why did I even have it in the first place? And that was because I had so many possibilities, options of what I wanted to do with that time, who I wanted to see. So what was it for you? What was the silver lining that came up for you? Even if you didn't expect to be doing something, and it could even be in the most smallest minor ways that you're needing to consider this. Then the Monday Mantra micro lesson, which is now what I'm calling them when I pull out snippets for you to remember. What is a discipline that you need to put in place that is sustainable? And it's going to help you shift your perception when you know why you are doing what you are doing. So what do you need to do? For me, it was sticking to what I know is the right thing for me, because I feel like I've got to a place in my life where it's tests coming in to go, okay, are you going to veer here? Are you going to veer here? Are you going to keep going down the path that you know and trust? And that's the path that I'm choosing to go down. Discipline comes with action for direction. It doesn't matter if the destination is known or unknown. We need to lead ourselves, others, and also be open to being led. This is the way forward. I'm going to say something which I don't mean to offend anybody, but I noticed that over the years that I've been doing this work, when Kieran messages me and says we're having issues with somebody because they don't want to fill in the form, or they're upset that we've asked them to pay a deposit, and the reason for that is because there's so many people waiting that we need to confirm that that spot is taken, because when I work I can only see so many people. This type of work I can't see 100 people. It's always coming from a similar type of person. And it's the type of person that is in a leadership role, that perhaps owns their own business in a similar industry. And this is where it gets really difficult, when people's egos start to take over, where you think that, because usually Kieran will say to me, they'll say things like, well, I have a business too, and I'm also seeing clients. But the thing is, we all run and operate differently, and being able to follow the lead of somebody else is showing you that you are honoring them, and that you are flexible to different cyclic, the cycles that other people need to put in place for making their work a success for you. And this is why you always have to be open to being led, because you get new perception. You're going, okay, this person needs this done, so I'm just going to go along with it. That's why I said to you, if I'm going to see someone for something, I'm going to be waiting for them. And so you have to put our egos aside and not assume that we know everything, because we don't. And this is why there's so many amazing miracles that happen through the spiritual journey, because we are being open to being led, even if we're here on earth as mini leaders in what we do. The full moon energy did give us more clarity, and if you weren't feeling it at that time, you will be feeling it towards this week. And being led and leading yourself and leading others, it's a dance of discipline. That's when I realized, when I was dancing, that's the word that they wanted me to use. It's a dance of discipline, to not fall into the ego of trying to create alone. The universe leads us. We have to take the steps, trust the steps, and the people coming into our lives. People come as teachers for me all the time. You're all my teachers. Every single client that I have, every funny thing that comes up that I'm going, oh, this is causing me stress because it's disorganizing my week. It's, it's wasting my time. It's a lesson for me. And it has been the cycle of giving and receiving support to validate what we know or what we need to know, and take the support, be open, because we all can't do it alone. This was a big week in terms for me, as I saw starting off really stressed out and then moving into reaching out to people and sharing, letting them know that we're all in this together. We just all have different levels and different layers of things coming up for our healing, for us to have clarity. And I'm noticing that in my own private life with people's communication at the moment, a lot of people are needing their own time and are perhaps not communicating as much because they're needing to have clarity in their own lives before they can handle or deal with you or anything else that you have to say. So be a little bit patient with people at the moment and give people the space that they need, including yourself. If you need the space, take it. Remember, I'm always here for you, and I am only one person. I'm doing my very best to see as many people as I can. I do ask one thing of you, though. If you are, using the app, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, it really helps me because, this is a very small business in terms of an app. Apps are usually run by big companies and they have the funding to, get people, and I want to keep this affordable, and this is why I have the link off the platform so that we can keep it at a very minimal fee. So the more that you let people know, the more it really helps me be here for you 24 hours basically on this app, creating resources for you. But if you need a session, mini readings are great for brief guidance. Now, follow-up sessions, I am doing them, but it's going to be based on last minute for follow-up sessions. Like if I'm feeling okay, I'll let Kieran know to open up and offer some spots for those of you on the wait list. So everything is waitlisted at the moment except for mini readings and personalized meditations, which are always a great way for you to heal. Kieran is the person to contact, soul33@gmail.com. If you need to renew your app, it is via a separate link. If you need to join, it's also via a separate link. Now, Free Vocal, who is the platform that my app is created from, when you register for the app, check your spam folder because you'll get an email from Free Vocal with your login details. And if you don't, please email Kieran so she can figure out why and provide you with the information that you need. Leading on to this week's Monday mantra, I will apply love to all situations in my life. I will apply love to all situations in my life. This week, we're making the transition from February to March. March is a big month. March is a big month with a lot of different events going on astrologically, and we need to come back to our hearts. We need to come back to honoring and being okay with the cycles of life that we've gone through in February, the death, the rebirth, and now coming back to connection. We forget to see things from our hearts. We give the mind so much credit that it knows what it's doing that sometimes, this is one thing that came up for me last week. I try and do everything in the way to be as fail-proof as possible, even in my own life, the way I look after myself. And sometimes things just happen where you're like, I did everything I could and that just happened anyway. But it's for you to realize that your discipline is also trust. Part of your discipline is also trust. Part of your discipline is to go into your heart and let that lead us. So we forget to see things from our hearts, which then leads us to resistance and disconnection. So when we apply love to all situations, the focus is connection and growth rather than resistance and restriction. I noticed with me there was a shift on Thursday night, and I saw connections coming back closer, like connections in my relationship, connections. It's like something just like a layer just started to drop before the full moon. This week, we want to reevaluate our expectations. Try, like my expectation of doing all the things, and then this had to go and happen. But then the discipline is trust. Try not to be too hard on yourself or others. Rather, try to love where you are at and making loving decisions, even if that means letting something or someone go with love for yourself. So I'm going to say that again. This week, we want to reevaluate our expectations. Try not to be too hard on yourself or others. Rather, try to love where you are at and making loving decisions, even if that means letting something or someone go with love for yourself. I have friends that are making very hard decisions at the moment, putting parents in care and all kinds of things. These can be loving decisions, but really, really challenging. There is an existing situation that's going to come up this week, and you are in the situation now, and there will be a new light shining on it. And it's going to be for you to see expansion in this area of your life. Now, this could mean that you are feeling safe to love someone or something deeper, or you're seeing someone or yourself in a new light. There are new parts of yourself opening up, because that full moon over the weekend was like a portal because of the date to, here in New Zealand, we go date, month, year. So it was 24 to 24. And that portal was this light opening us up to see things deeper, to connect deeper, to know our boundaries more, which is for self-love, but also loving the other person freely, and having these new parts of ourselves opening up. And what we receive from others is going to change because of this, because we are more open, we are more trusting, we are making decisions from our heart, and people and situations will be showing their true colors. And if you find yourself not liking these true colors, look at yourself and go, okay, how can I apply love to the situation? Either self-love or loving that other person. Like a teenager, sometimes I would imagine they'll be difficult to love because they're being so frustrating, but of course you love them anyway. Friendship is in the air this week too. So I feel like this is why I was naturally reaching out to friends last week. So depending on how aligned you are, you will either find it easy to love everybody this week and feel connected, or if you're not in balance, you'll be needing to look at what love would do in your situation, applying love to your situation. Regardless, you will see love present in yourself, and for someone, it may be rekindled. You will have someone have your back. And if you don't, it's because you haven't been paying attention to what you need to do in the previous Monday mantras, which is trusting, coming back to yourself. Back yourself first, and then you will find other people being able to back you. Transformation is happening for your highest good this week. February has been an exciting month. I mean, lots of the endings and beginnings, death and rebirth. And the common theme has been the cyclic nature of life. But it has been, when you look at it all, had the silver lining. There's been positive outcomes, things coming together. And clarity, like I need to address this now. This has to be my discipline, my health, my weight, my work, my whatever it is that has come up for you. And I know this from seeing so many clients and also people around me. They're reprioritizing things. Relationships have had an opportunity to thrive and grow, and new additions and expanded perspectives on life is being given to us. And this is being given to us to be able to create more and to know that we are supported in our pursuits. Someone messaged me on Instagram to say that they've been putting the Monday mantra as a screensaver on their phone. And this was a great thing, because another perception of us being led by somebody else doing something simple but cool. So what I will be doing is every Monday in New Zealand, Sunday in the Northern Hemisphere, I will put the Monday mantra on my story, Instagram story, just with nothing else. So the whole thing, so it's in the shape of a phone. So you just have to screenshot that, and then you can set it as your screensaver on your phone. And then you can remind yourself this week, which is, I will apply love to all situations in my life. So if you're in a conflict, or if you're finding yourself having to back yourself or back somebody else or reconnect, and you're upset, or all of these things are within the context of, how do I apply love? You'll be able to look at your phone and remind yourself. And I also suggest making those notes after each day, a few words to remind you what actually happened throughout your week, so that you can look back and see the cycle that occurred for you. I'm here for you, mini readings, personalized meditations, renewing the app, all of that. Kieran is the person to ask, soul33@gmail.com. So we're going to take a moment now, and we're going to breathe into our heart space. We're going to ask this week for more balance and to reconnect ourselves to that divine love, and to be able to receive exactly what we need, and know that this week we're being asked to respond with love. And that even means tough love sometimes, I'm being told. Sending you so much love myself. And remember, with your homework, you can do them every day. You can do one a day. You can, add in other ones. It's just a guideline and a framework of what I feel is going to help you with the energy of the week. Even if you don't like the meditation, or you don't like my voice, just do it anyway, because it's going to be healing you on some level. I think it's important to sit with things that give you resistance anyway, because it's going to show you something more about yourself, being able to be led by somebody else, something bigger than us.